Okay, cool. Hopefully it pops up. There it is. Here we are. I hope it doesn't show the old thumbnail. No, it's a good thumbnail. Hey, everybody. What's up? We're streaming live. Cool. Yes. Awesome. We are here today with Korra, and we are going to talk all things Marvel, all things super duper awesome, because there's some great news out there. I don't know if you guys heard this, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to have James Gunn come back, return after being fired for something he did 10 years ago. Could you imagine being fired for something you did 10 years ago, Korra?
Kevin Hart.
Exactly. It's like so many people.
When it happened, I was, when they fired him, I'm like, what did he do? And then they showed these tweets from 10 years ago that he apologized for multiple times, explained, the whole, you got to understand the culture of the time, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute. He's being fired for this? That means you can get fired for anything.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true.
Anything that you have done at any point in your life, you can get fired.
But that's the double-edged sword of social media these days, because if you put your whole life out there, then at the same time, you could be putting your whole death out there, as it were.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
It's really crazy.
He's still directing Suicide Squad 2 also.
That's the thing. I was going to ask. I don't know if he's still going to do the sequel to Suicide Squad and do Guardians 3, but how can he split his time like that? Because he seems like a guy who likes to really put in a lot of effort. And he puts in years to do these Guardians movies, and you could tell it. It feels that way. He really does love the people and the project. But Suicide Squad felt like, oh, I need a job. and I'm good at ensemble. So how do you think he's going to manage that?
Well, I think he's already in the middle of pre-production, or almost done with pre-production for Suicide Squad. So he's probably pretty close to getting ready to shooting it.
Right.
And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 probably wouldn't come out until 2021. So he would just do it after Suicide Squad.
I guess so, yeah. So 2021,
and I'm sure,
that's, 2 years from now? And Suicide Squad comes out this year? Or next year?
Next year, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got like a full year, and he's already put in the time on the pre-production for Guardians.
Yeah, so I think he already had, like, if not a finished script, at least the outline of everything that they wanted to do for the third movie. He already knew what he wanted to do.
Right.
So it's not like he's coming in from scratch. Like, he's got a lot of basis already.
Yeah, and it's almost better that way, because now he's got even more time to sort of, while he's doing Suicide 2, he can probably redivert some of his ideas that don't work for Suicide 2 for Guardians 3, because I've noticed, take for instance the Coen brothers, when they were adapting the book for No Country for Old Men, at the same time they were writing the screenplay for Burn After Reading. So Burn After Reading's an original work, No Country for Old Men is an adapted work, and what they were doing is every time they ran into like a roadblock while adapting, or whenever they were inspired, they would say like, oh, what if this happened instead? That would be ridiculous. And they'd said, you know what, why don't we write that into our original screenplay? So they just kept getting inspired by new ideas, and they would, at the end of the day, put it into Burn After Reading. So they wrote those simultaneously, and in my opinion, Burn After Reading is a fun little romp through absurdity.
It is. I do like that movie.
It's quite fun.
Now, is it true that Dave Bautista is also going to be in Suicide Squad 2?
I heard that too. I heard that as well. I know that Will Smith is not going to be in Suicide Squad 2. It's going to be Idris Elba this time.
Which I think is an awesome choice.
Yeah, he seems like to have a little bit more gravitas or like a bit more heaviness to him, I would say.
Yeah. I would
intensity.
like I've wanted him to play James Bond for years.
Oh yeah, I think
Ever since I first heard that rumor, it was like, "What do you think about Idris?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I've been like on board the whole time. People are like, "Oh no, he's too old." I'm like, "Then do the retirement Bond. I don't care."
exactly. But I don't think he's too old. I think if you
Oh,
had Sean Connery at 70 or whatever it was in 1982. I don't know. I mean, I guess he was in his 60s, maybe 60, um, playing James Bond. You can have Idris Elba.
yeah. I mean, well, he's gonna be in the new Fast and Furious spinoff.
I think that's going to be a great adaptation. Two Calvin, two Hobbes.
Calvin and
Um,
Hobbes.
it's funny. I just tweeted out our live stream, and it's showing the thumbnail for Halloween, which is not right. Um, and it's
Yeah,
just
but
not.
the link works, right?
The link definitely works. So
Yeah, it does that sometimes. It's like, I don't know. It is funny though. We're live streaming a Koricon Halloween special.
yeah, I hope
Wait a minute. You're a little late on that.
you guys, yeah, definitely. I just tweeted it out with a actual picture of what we're doing, so they can click on
Oh,
that.
there we go.
Yeah,
I see it.
there it is. Good. Okay, cool. So maybe that'll work. Anyway, if you guys are watching right now, what are your thoughts? So we got DC Big Oso, DC Big Bear. That's the translation for that. Yes, James Gunn is back. Chris Bullis, what's up, dudes? What's up, Chris? We're talking about the Marvel Universe right now with Koricon. If you guys want to subscribe to our channels, you can go ahead and do that while we're chatting. The Guardian script is already written. That's true. And yes, Dave Bautista is in Suicide Squad. I did not know that. So that's cool. He's got a little double duty. It's good to be friends with a director, it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well bring over Pratt and Saldina also, and just have like a
Yeah.
Suicide Squad 2 of Guardians.
Yeah. I mean,
Guardians of the Suicide Squad. I don't know.
exactly. Just mash it all up.
just mix it together.
A
It's
DC
the
Marvel
first-
crossover.
Yeah, the first DC Marvel crossover.
Right.
Well, you remember the comic books in the, I don't know if you read them, but I think it was in the 90s where they had DC and Marvel mixed together, but they didn't like have the characters fight each other. They literally mixed the characters together. So like Wolverine and Batman was
one thing, yeah.
Claw or Iron Claw or something like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, just do that.
I do remember that. And there's a lot of Comic-Con cosplays of this kind of things. Like, I don't know if you saw that Wolverine Boba Fett cross mashup.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just do those things.
So like Suicide Squatting in the Galaxy. Let's just go for it.
Well, this is the beautiful thing about nerd culture. And I was just thinking about this when I was making my coffee earlier. You know, the reason why we have all these amazing giant movies that are pretty much everything we dreamt of as kids is because as we grew up inspired by these comic books and technology became more readily available, we could actually do proof of concept on our own out of love for all of these things. We can actually create consumable little fan fictions of all this stuff. And then finally, and I think also the people who are starting to run the studios are the nerds that grew up with this kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. That's what I think.
Yeah, when the nerds take over, that's for sure. DC Big Oso said Dave was the most
Boisterous.
boisterous. That's an interesting word, but yeah, he was threatening, or he had said if Gunn is not rehired, that he'll ask Marvel to get out of his contract.
Yeah, that's a big threat because, you know what? Say what you will about Drax. He shot up to my top favorite Guardians, actually, in that sequel, in Guardians 2. I never laughed so hard. I think James Gunn knew how to work Bautista, his physicality, his cadence, his whole thing into the script, because we already got introduced to all these characters in Guardians 1, and now in Guardians 2, we get to hang out with them more. And it's just so much.
I'm moving so slow, I'm invisible.
Exactly. Which was in Infinity War, but still, it's like now we know we get Drax. And the first one was kind of like a one-note kind of thing. But, I mean, it still is kind of a one-note thing, but that's the beauty of it, is he sort of never really develops.
I like him. He's going to be in a... so have you seen the Ip Man movies?
No, what's that? I don't know what that is.
Ip Man was the guy that trained Bruce Lee. He was his teacher.
Oh.
And during the 1920s and 30s, when you had, before that, when you had Japan had invaded China, they have these stories of him fighting against, and it's very popular character. So Ip Man were 3 movies that were done with Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen? I think so. Donnie Yen. But they're doing a spin-off movie with another character, which is a guy that lost to a fight with Ip Man in the first movie. And Dave Bautista is going to be in it as the, like,
heavy.
The big white guy that you beat up.
Right.
He was also in that Kickboxer sequel.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in a Kickboxer sequel.
How many did they make of those?
Like 5.
Really?
6. No. I think they're like at 7.
I've only ever seen the first one with the legendary kick the tree. You want me to kick the tree?
Well,
remember,
they had
your brother.
Kickboxer 2, 3, and 4 were done with Sasha Mitchell, who was and then they had a 5th one that had what's his name? It's on my tip of my tongue.
Steven Seagal.
No, but he does the Iron Chef.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
I can't remember. What's his name?
The son of the great Iron Chef, or whatever.
Yeah.
The
but he
quote,
was
fictional son.
Yeah. I always loved a movie he did called Only the Strong, where he was fighting.
Yes.
He was fighting with oh my God, my brain is not working.
Don't worry, I got Google.
Capoeira.
Yeah. Chen Kenichi.
No.
Oh wait, Mark Dacascos.
Mark Dacascos.
My bad.
Who is also going to be in the 3rd John Wick movie.
Dope. John Wick.
But he's just talking about it. Looks weird.
That is weird. I was just talking about the latest John Wick installment with my mother because she loves John Wick.
Don't we?
So let's see. Let's catch up with DC Big Oso. Yeah. Dave was the most boisterous. I'm not too familiar with the character Dave Bautista is supposed to be playing. Have you ever heard of the character in Suicide Squad that posed to be a pacifist? That's weird. How would you be? What would you do as a pacifist in the Suicide Squad? I haven't heard of that character.
I think you would die.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm here to die. You'd basically be...
you'd be Slipknot in the first one.
Exactly. Hi, I'm Slipknot. I die in the first couple minutes of our journey.
I don't need any characterization.
Don't get too attached.
My head's gonna blow up.
Yeah. Oh man, speaking of exploding heads, what was that movie where they had the things around their necks with Christopher Lambert and their heads exploded? That movie, Fortress. Was it Fortress?
Yeah.
Anybody remember that one?
I have not thought about that movie in 20 years.
I saw it in the movie theater, and I remember my cousin and I just started laughing and laughing and laughing when one of the prisoners runs away and his head explodes and his body keeps running.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I totally forgot about that movie.
It was the greatest thing ever. So, Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about.
It's okay. It goes. This is conversation. That's how it goes. Thank you guys too for joining us. This is Koricon, Aristotle Full Throttle. We're talking about Captain Marvel, Endgame, Guardians 3, and the Marvel Universe. So Captain Marvel, I saw it last week. Did you see it?
I did.
And what are your thoughts on Captain Marvel?
I think that they should have made two movies that started a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're cramming two movies worth of storyline into one movie and then forcing it into theaters a month before Infinity. But the thing is, they've been planning it for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you had that much time, why wouldn't you have done something earlier? I don't know. It feels like it's just slapped together and thrown out there just so that they could have the character.
Yeah. What do you think of Brie Larson as the titular character?
I think she's okay. I think the directors did not direct her very well,
Exactly.
and I think that I think the Russo brothers would probably do much better with her. So
Ye-
I'm hoping her acting is better in Infinity War.
That is the exact same feeling I went away with. I was like, Brie Larson, Oscar winner Brie Larson, is an amazing actor. And in this movie, I could not tell. It was just hit or miss. I was like, wow, she is so much better than this. And there was that criticism I had overall of her in the movie. And I think Ben Mendelsohn took his part and ran with it and made it jump off screen.
I actually loved him.
Yeah.
I love him in general. He's awesome. He plays great bad guys in all of the movies he's in, and I like them all.
He's great.
But it seems like he ate up this character. Like he absolutely had a blast. You could tell he had so much fun.
He definitely did, yeah. For
And
sure.
when an actor has fun, you can really see it on screen.
That's the thing. It's just like he was so just leaned into every little bit of what he was doing, and you could see that everything he said had a thought behind it. And I felt, a lot of stuff that Brie Larson was saying was just kind of, here's my line, and here's my line, and
Right.
and Samuel L. Jackson he's just always a ringer. You could just bring him in, and he'll always be fully invested into whatever he's doing. So.
And I gotta say, the de-aging CGI was amazing.
I could not even tell. It was so much better than in Civil War when we saw Tony Stark and his sort of morphing face, which was kind of weird when they were showing him depicting himself younger. It was still cool, but it was definitely still Uncanny Valley. And yeah, in Captain Marvel, that CG with the de-aging just was flawless. He and Coulson, the toupee
Coulson,
was
you
throwing
could
me
tell.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, Coulson, you could tell, but it was awesome to see Coulson again. We need to
Yes.
bring him back into the regular MCU,
Yeah, into the films. Yeah.
into the regular films.
Listen,
I love Coulson. But yeah, I could tell on him, but on Samuel L. Jackson, it looked amazing.
it was great. It was but overall my feeling of the movie was, like the title that I put on
Madville.
the thing. Yeah, Captain Maville. I just didn't I wish I felt more. I actually watched it again by perfectly legal means. But I watched it again and I was like, I liked it a little bit more, but if you watch anything over and over again, it's just a psychological phenomenon that you will like it more.
Well,
I just
I think the sudden shock is over,
yeah,
and you kind of know what to expect, and so you can just focus on the things that you like Samuel L. Jackson with the cat.
the cat was great. I actually didn't mind. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but spoilers. But maybe I won't fully give it away. But there was something that happens that well, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing that happens is, and I didn't mind that. I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool little backstory there, and I didn't mind it at all. I just thought that was well built into it, and it actually gets telegraphed a couple scenes before. I mean, it gets telegraphed before you even see the movie, I think, but a couple scenes before, there's a line that is like basically the complement to another line in another movie that Samuel L. Jackson says, and when as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen because I've seen all of the movies at least 3 times, except for the Thor movies. Yeah, so let's see. Big DC Oso, big DC Big Oso says, "Are you guys Trekkies? I'm a Trekkie, for sure.
I'm both a Trekkie
Trekker.
and a Star Wars fan, and like I like them all.
Yeah,
I'm
I like
actually
them all.
also a big fan of Stargate SG-1.
I like the original movie, and that might be the only Roland Emmerich movie that I remember liking, besides Independence Day. But I don't. My father definitely watched SG-1. I never watched it. So,
Don't
but
make
I am
me
a fan.
old.
I am a fan of Star Trek. I am watching Discovery. I am.
I haven't seen Discovery because I refuse to pay for CBS All Access.
I only paid for it because I was trying to watch something, and then they gave me the week free trial, and then I started the trial, and I don't know how to cancel it.
See, that's why I don't want it. No, for one, I didn't want to leave cable television just to have to pay every channel individually, especially a channel station that has commercials and is over the local airwaves.
Yeah.
Why am I paying a monthly fee for that? Like,
You know what? It's crazy because no matter how you slice the pie of streaming or TV or entertainment services, it's always going to be about $100 a month. It's around there, because right now I'm paying, I guess, $45 for high-speed internet, or turns out to be $56, $57 after taxes, and then I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon, and if I get HBO Go for the upcoming Game of Thrones.
oh yeah, everybody will.
Yeah, so now I'm going to be up to $100 again, whereas I can get basic cable for $100
Yeah, but at least
with internet.
I guess on basic cable you don't get much. You
Yeah.
just get a bunch of reality shows and crap. But I just don't see the need to pay for CBS when all of their stuff has commercials and over the airwaves. I understand paying for Netflix and Amazon because there's the only place you can get their stuff.
Right.
And there's no commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So
CBS still has commercials. I'm paying for it, and there's still 90-second interruptions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, guys.
At least have a free version with commercials, and then the paid version is no commercials. I could understand that.
Yeah.
But don't make it to where you have to pay to watch that show on CBS. Just show the commercials. Do it like they do on the CW. You know, you could go to the website and watch all the shows on CW. They just have commercials in there. It's like watching it when it came out.
Yeah, or do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Yeah, sorry. That just came to mind.
That whole song just went through my head.
So, DC Big Oso. Young Samuel L. Jackson was awesome. I think we agree with that. I think Captain Marvel shouldn't have blown you away because this movie predates the MCU, so it should have the new car smell. Should have that new car smell. I don't know. I wasn't really blown away. And here's the thing. My expectation was super high for Captain Marvel because I've seen Marvel movies that actually move me. Like, I feel something, and throughout all of Captain Marvel, I wasn't really there. I mean, a lot of the goofs and gags were pretty funny and good, but there were moments that were supposed to build into these great, go get 'em moments or inspiring moments, and I just wasn't feeling it, and it was sad. Like,
yeah, to me, it felt like Iron Man 3, where I'm like, I left the theater going, that could have been a good movie.
yeah,
But I didn't feel like it was. But I didn't hate it.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was like, it's okay. Like you say, mehville. But I felt the same way with like Iron Man 3. I'm like, you introduce the Mandarin and then you don't use him
Right.
and you turn him into a joke. I was like, that movie should have come out after Doctor Strange, and you should have had the real guy from the comic books.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was
But
something.
Captain Marvel's not as bad as Thor 2, The Dark World.
Yeah, Thor 2. I remember it's forgettable. I just kind
Yeah,
of. But that's the beauty
pointless.
of the MCU is they can kind of tweak as they go. That is why I kind of think Captain Marvel was a little bit of a just a meh movie because they've been tweaking as they're going, and especially with the Thor movies, because I think after a while, I guess once Chris Hemsworth became a producer and more involved, people were realizing over at Disney, they're like, oh yeah, we have Chris Hemsworth who is also hilarious. So why don't we actually make him lean into what he's good at, which is being funny.
And then team him up with Taika Waititi, though. Oh man,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love Thor Ragnarok. I
so
was
good. It's so
yeah.
rewatchable. I've been rewatching it on Netflix over and over again. Speaking of, so Endgame. I am not going to watch the trailer for Endgame. I'm not the new one that came out yesterday. I'm not watching it. What about you?
I saw it.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm going
Okay.
to wait.
There's
But
I don't think there isn't anything in there that is too extra special from the first one, except a couple of things. Maybe two things.
right. Yeah. Well, I figured what I'm hearing is it's just the first 10 minutes of the movie that they're showing, or the first act, I guess, which is always
Yeah.
the best way to, I think, sell it, because if you're hooked in within the first 10 minutes, first 20 minutes, then that's a good thing. It's positive.
What's funny is my two biggest takeaways when I saw the trailer I was hair. I was really happy that Black Widow's hair was growing out and it's red again, because I love her red hair is so gorgeous. I love red hair. And the other was Hawkeye. His hair looks horrible.
Oh, right. He's got that kind of buzz cut on the sides, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was you, but I don't know. Someone said it. It looks like his barber. He was getting his hair cut when the snap happened, and his barber disappeared.
Halfway through.
He just never finished it.
Yeah, he's like halfway done. So he's going to be Ronin, I guess, in this one. Ronin, not Ronin,
Yeah,
or however.
which I guess is a play off of the Japanese Ronin.
Yeah.
But he has a mask in the comic books, and it doesn't look like he's got a mask for the movie. He's just Hawkeye in a suit and changed his name.
Right.
So
He's like, you guys forgot about me all entirely in the last movie. Now I'm going to have a bigger part. I like that.
Do you think his family went away with the snap, or is it something else?
I definitely think that, because he was introduced as such a family man in Age of Ultron, that that's what he's living for. That's what he's gonna leave the Avengers for, and yeah, I think that's, if he doesn't have that, then he doesn't have anything, and he's just gonna be sort of this contract killer or whatever. I wonder how the world is gonna be in a shambles, because I know from watching the last Endgame trailer, there were a lot of empty fields, cars just strewn about that nobody. I guess you have twice as much stuff.
You don't have to, just like
Thanos
Thanos
wanted.
said, you don't have to worry about food
Yeah.
unless all the farmers got taken in the snap, and then I guess you do have to worry about food.
That's the thing. It's like the chaos that must ensue after that. It's got to be confusing. Half the world leaders, on average, I guess. I mean, it's
There's
crazy.
a couple I wouldn't mind if they disappeared in a snap.
Yeah. That's true.
There's a couple where I'm like, yeah, You can go ahead and take that one.
The world would be better on balance. Let's see. DC Big Oso. I have Netflix, DirecTV now, Amazon Video, and WWE Network. That's a pretty good a well-rounded bunch.
How many people do you think are going to join HBO Go or Now or whatever? How many people are going to join HBO next month and then quit in a month?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm one. Yeah, I guess it'll be 2 months
I'm
because
one.
it's 6 episodes. So
That's
a month
fine.
and a half. Yeah,
I don't mind paying for 2 months.
I'm definitely going to do that because,
Plus, I get to see John Oliver every week. That would be nice.
yeah, that is a good show.
It's not enough for me to pay every month. But
I have the Fire Stick, the Amazon Fire Stick, and whenever I'm using that, I'm like scrolling through the movies, and I don't know how to sort this better, but I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch that movie, and they're like $19.99, and I'm like, no, I don't want to pay for that, and then they're like movies that are recommended for you. I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to watch that, and then it's just like $9.99. I'm like, why you keep asking me for money?
I just want to watch.
I just want to watch the movie. Why are you showing me this if I can't watch it for free? It's annoying.
They don't have a thing on there that says buy or rent.
It says buy or rent, but a lot of times it'll just say movies recommended for you. I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
but they're really saying movies we recommend you pay us for, recommended for us to make money.
Movies we recommend to sell you.
Yeah. We recommend we get richer off of you. That's our recommendation.
Bezos needs more money with the divorce.
Yeah. Bezos lost half his money in the snapping.
His wife snapped and the money went away.
Yeah, there should be a meme of that. Her holding the the Infinity Gauntlet. That would be amazing.
Have Bezos's head and his wife is Thor. You should have gone for the head.
Yeah. Half his cash, just gone.
Cash, and then they'd show the scene of the Joker burning the money.
Exactly.
It's not about the money.
Right. Oh, speaking of amazing depictions of supervillains and superheroes, what a great one. So James Gunn is back for Guardians 3.
Yes.
This is a great day. I read
this
that.
This is a great day.
Right before we started streaming. I was very excited about that. I know we kind of started this conversation off that way, but I mean, that's great. I mean, he's basically, what did he do between now and July that made him any less or better of a person that Disney decided to rehire him?
I think it was just the outrage.
Yeah.
There was so many people that were like, what is wrong with you? And, you know, all the actors had protested.
Yeah.
You know, they all signed a letter to Disney. You know, they all were outspoken about it. Dave Bautista threatening to quit. Like,
it's pretty crazy.
I think if anything, maybe Disney was like, hey, let's let this die down a little bit and then we'll be the hero.
Yeah.
And rehire him.
It's like the smart move, I guess. It's all contextual. Is when the fire is burning hot, you got to jump out of it, and then you got to reignite it, I guess. Be the ones to be like, hey, look, you know, there's a world leader that kind of reminds me of that. You cause a problem, right? And then you undo that problem, say like border security, and then you go, look, I saved the day.
Yeah, it's like a pyro that's a firefighter.
Yeah. Exactly.
You lit the fire and then you showed up and put it out. You're like, look, I put out the fire. It's like, yeah, but you set the fire, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm a hero for putting it out.
Or those nurses that will like make people sick or put them close to death so that they can get the notice for reviving them.
Munchausen by proxy. Yeah, it's crazy. I was just speaking of Baron Munchausen, that movie actually, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I don't know if
that was a good movie. That's a good movie.
I was quite entertained by that as a kid. So if you guys have questions, let us know. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe to Coricon. The info is below. It's right below. And also, if you subscribe to my channel, Aristotle Full Throttle, you can get a chance to win a PS4 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Is it Red Dead Redemption 2?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
See, I'm super hip with the video games, kids.
Hey, I'm subscribed. Does that mean I can win the PS4?
That does mean you are eligible to win. However, a way to increase your chances is to go through all my videos and comment. And you've been doing that, so you're already high up there on the list because you've just been doing it by fault.
I've been doing it since the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So,
like, my favorite interaction with you was when you were giving out the stickers for that giveaway, and you're like, you said comment anything, even if it's hey. And so all I said was hey. But I love what you said. I love what you said in your video where you're like, you've given better comments, but this one's got a special place in my heart. And that was the moment I realized we have the same sense of humor.
It's a true story. It's a true story. Yeah. Speaking of sense of humor, I'm doing these new videos, these little animations. I should actually learn how to do animation a little bit better. but
I love them.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I'm having so much fun. I'm almost having too much fun. I'm having more fun than I think the quality of them is. But
your voice for Samuel L. Jackson and Marvel is pretty funny. I gotta say, I loved that first one where they're talking about her name, and then at the end he's like, "What were we talking about?" Like he's just so confused now. Yeah,
but that's kind of what goes on in my head when I'm watching the movies or something. So they're just improvised little things, just stream of consciousness, and then hours and hours of editing. But that's the fun part.
When I watched them, I'm like, that's a lot of editing. Like, I don't know if I have that kind of patience.
It's fun. It's fun. I'm going to learn how to do a little bit more efficient editing with, let's say, with After Effects or something. Because I've been doing it in Final Cut Pro, which is stupid.
Yeah, switch to Adobe.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch to Adobe and turn out some more of those each week. Usually a commentary on what movies we've been watching. So if I walk out of a movie and have something to make fun of it about, stay tuned to watch the series on that.
Well, I'm sure Calvin and Hobbes movie will give you a lot of stuff, a lot of animation ideas.
That's a pretty great, yeah. Too Fast, Too Furious, Calvin and Hobbes. Two Calvin, two Hobbes.
The trailer has already sold me because I think The Rock and Statham have a great chemistry.
Yeah.
And I love in the trailer when they jump out of the window. They count to 3 and The Rock is on the rope and he's slowly going down and has that look of like, you asshole. And then he goes into the elevator and he's going down the elevator. The guy swings. The whole sequence made me laugh out loud just from the trailer. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to like this. And they look like they're having fun.
That's the trick, is as long as if you're having fun on screen, if you're feeling something on screen, then we're feeling that. So that's the thing about good acting and about good performances that's important. And, I just felt Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, was sort of walking through some scenes in that movie. But again, Ben Mendelsohn was really knocking it out of the park with he was chewing the scenery in every scene that he was in, which was great.
Yeah, I loved him. And you could also see it in like Jumanji.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that movie to be any good.
I haven't seen it.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
You should. You should. Because Jack Black is amazing.
He is great. I've been watching his show.
Jablinski Games.
Jablinski Games. Sorry, guys, no gaming this week, but we're actually going to go to a park and play a game. I love it. Yeah, it's so much fun. And a lot of those places are that he visits. I'm like, oh, I that's like not too far from me. I want to check it out because I think he knows that. I think he knows what he's doing, which is good. And I love every time his kids are on the thing, they're like, stop.
Yeah, but his oldest son is the editor.
Editing, yeah. He's good. He's funny. I've been watching that every week. He's actually playing chess with Cage, with KG, which is amazing because it's an old school game. And well, wasn't he was playing Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, with Karen Gillian.
Yeah,
because they were on the set for Jumanji 2.
That's it. Yeah, so he
and
looks like
I'm in love with her. I love her.
She's great. Nebula. Yeah, she's fantastic.
And she's got the red hair. She was in. I love red hair. I just say, but
she's beautiful.
She was in some of my favorite Doctor Who episodes. Were the ones with her and Rory. And Matt Smith. Those were some of my favorite Doctor Who's.
I have to catch up on 50 years of that, actually. I know that I should start on like season 27 or something, but
just do the last 10 years.
Yeah, I do need to catch up. But is it one of those shows where you can sort of just jump in at any time? And
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, that's cool.
I would suggest starting at the beginning of a season.
Right.
Just because they do have an overall small arc for the whole season.
Oh, that's cool. I do like that. A lot of shows don't really do that anymore. I'm actually, since I started Star Trek Discovery, it's getting weird. Everybody before I started watching that, people were saying, yeah, it's kind of weird. And then I started watching it, and I'm like, what do they mean it's weird? What do they mean it's weird? And I'm like, oh, I see. It's kind of salud. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing how it goes because it's building a different way than, say, I think it's more of a through line in a sense because Next Generation was a lot just very sort of ReZero at the beginning of every episode, although there were longer storylines going on. But you could pretty much start Next Gen anywhere and watch an entire episode and get everything you wanted out of it. But this has more of a seasonal arc.
They're going to do the same kind of thing with the new Captain Picard show, whatever that show is going to be based. It's based on Captain Picard, but I don't know is he an admiral now? Like, what is he doing? I don't know.
I don't know.
They said
maybe he's sitting in a rocking chair telling stories.
Yeah, in France,
like old Indiana Jones.
But
in the Nexus.
I think Patrick Stewart said that they were going to have a story arc for the season.
That's interesting. I mean, they did have stuff like cliffhangers in the Next Gen where it's Locutus becomes assimilated by the Borg, and then the season premiere of the next season, it's like, oh, never mind, just kidding.
Yeah, you had a couple of two-parters.
Yeah.
Three-parters.
But that's basically the state of Marvel right now. I know that Spider-Man comes out. There's like Black Panther 2 is being in pre-production. They're doing, everything is, I guess we're entering phase 4. And I guess it'll be a whole clean slate, mostly, of heroes.
So what do you think? I've heard a lot of people that like to complain about Captain Marvel. But one of the things that they mention that I actually agree with is they don't want Captain Marvel to be the one to kill Thanos.
I don't want that either. I think this movie is going to be a different type of movie, which is smart. I think because there's types of... I think that the last movie was the anti-hero's journey, basically. It was Thanos was the main character who had a goal and an arc and actually achieved his goal. And but, his basically the person that was countering him throughout the larger arc was Thor, because the very beginning, Thor says you'll die for that. He's got the revenge motive to come back and kill Thanos personally, whereas everyone's just trying to stop him. So there was that sort of completed arc, but he didn't succeed. Thor never succeeded in his goal.
He should have gone for the head.
He should have gone for the head. Should have just, or chopped the arm off or something. But I mean, come on. He just got the axe. He's learning how to use it.
Well,
He needs the axe.
He needs the axe. He's like, you're gonna die. He's like, not if it doesn't. That's what killing you means. No, I think they're going to end up having, a battle like they did in Infinity War, where you had everybody fighting Thanos at the same time.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Captain Marvel is going to be the last blow.
No, I don't think so. I think that, then you run into the problem that you had at the end of The Force Awakens, where you discover, oh, here's Luke Skywalker. And then you go into The Last Jedi, and for 2 years, you're just, I don't know what people were thinking, because personally, I like The Last Jedi. A lot of people hate it. Half the people hate Last Jedi. But you go into a movie, you end The Force Awakens, the entire movie, you're looking for Luke Skywalker. You find him. Now what's he going to do in the next one? Are you just expecting him to be like, all right, first order done. All right, now that's the first 5 minutes of episode 8. Now what? Like, you got to have some kind of conflict. Why was Luke Skywalker hiding? Why was he not there the whole last movie? We have to go through that development to bring him back. I just think that people are, in my personal opinion, I don't know what you're expecting. Just him come out of hiding and then just make light work of the First Order. Then where's the drama?
Yeah, I can see that, but I also think that they didn't treat his character well. I agree with what Mark Hamill said, is that Luke Skywalker was his character was hope in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
He was hope. So, all of a sudden now his character is just zero hope. Like it did a 180, a total 180.
But that's
you would think he would not give up after going through what he went through with Kylo Ren. But
I contend that is a boring story, because he just shows up and then he's like, I really have so much hope. And it's like, okay, then Luke comes and he's like, what were they going to do? Spend the whole movie rebuilding his X-Wing so they could get off the planet? Because then that's a device. You could be like, oh, we only had enough gas in the Millennium Falcon to get here. How do we leave? And then they spend the whole movie rebuilding that, and then Deus Ex Machina showing up in the end and destroying the First Order in 2 seconds, like Luke Skywalker probably could. But so you have to say, why wouldn't he? Why doesn't he have that hope? And guess what? At the end of the movie, he restores hope to the galaxy by sacrificing himself. So ultimately, he does fulfill his destiny, because he does not fulfill his thought, what they thought was his destiny, which was to bring balance to the Force. His father did that. His father was the one who fulfilled the prophecy, killed the Emperor, brought balance to the Force. Luke failed at that. Luke was hope. So Luke restored hope. I think there's a logical connection throughout all of the movies as to why The Last Jedi is the way it is. And you could go in infinite directions with any movie. You can just write anything you want. But, I see why we get to where we are. And speaking of Deus Ex Machina, I'm generally not a fan of that, but I do like the Deus Ex Machina in Infinity War, because Thor shows up with his axe, Deus Ex Machina-ing, showing up but we see his journey. We see how he gets there. Mm-hmm. But he's literally a god. So he can do that. He can actually Deus Ex Machina. But,
well, I want to know, how did he know everybody was in Wakanda?
The new axe is powerful enough to control the Bifrost or something.
Well, for some of the people that know me, I have in one of my channels is Indian movies, and in India, for opening movies, they're a bit crazy in the theater. A lot of
Yeah.
dancing and screaming and whistling and throwing popcorn and like it's a party, right? But they don't do that too often for American movies. It's mostly for their favorite movie stars when they go and see the local Indian movie.
Right.
But I had some fans send me footage of Infinity War because the moment that Thor jumps in the air and the lightning is striking everywhere and he
It's
comes
amazing.
down, yeah, at that moment the theater erupted. Like people
Yeah.
were jumping out of their seats and clapping and screaming and like, ah! It was
I was
awesome.
watching that movie again last night, and I did that right there on that couch. I was like, yeah! Like every time that happens, I just watch a GIF of that, and then I like throw my phone in the air and I start running around because it's so exciting. There's 2 or 3 moments in Infinity War that pay off in such big ways for me. For instance, the moment when Cap shows up, because basically they're besting Vision and Scarlet Witch. They're done for. And then, of course, in the shadows, you've got Cap, and then they throw the spear at him, and he just catches it. He's like, no. He throws it back. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
that was a good one. That was a great scene. The
That
look
show,
on the look on her face when he caught her spear. I can't remember her name, but
yeah,
she's like,
she's
"Oh,
it's so great. That's a great reveal that movie's just really well put together. It's almost not even a movie the way it's done. It's unlike any other movie in Hollywood history, in my opinion, because of the way you've built 18 movies into it. But that reveal is great and pays off. And what was the? But it makes sense
they,
that Cap was there because Bruce Banner actually called Cap with the phone at that point and said, "Hey, can you help me find Vision?" So that was off screen, and of course, Cap is a good spy, so he did find him. All makes sense.
yeah, all makes sense." I loved Infinity War. I'm a little worried about if Endgame can, hold up to the light that they created for Infinity War. I mean, you make a great movie, the sequel to it is usually not good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's because this is technically a sequel to a bunch of other movies, but I'm having some faith that they said they spent about 8 years building to these 2 movies, so it's kind of one big arc that they've been working on. But again, yeah, it's really difficult. Hopefully they Return of the King this shit and make it
Yeah.
like really super epic. But I do think it's going to be a different type of movie. I think it's going to be
So
more
what
of
do
a.
what do you think Ant-Man's position is going to be? Like, I know he was stuck in the quantum realm, and he probably used a time loop to get out.
Yeah.
But what do you think his is the quantum realm his ability to go in and out of it? Maybe is that going to have a major play in it, or is he just going to be Ant-Man?
I think he's just going to be Ant-Man. I think it was a way for him to collect
Survive.
quantum energy, survive, and show up and be like, hey, now we've got a new device that we can work with, plot device we can work with in this movie. I don't know what it is. I kind of have a hunch, but I don't want to guess. But I think that is going to make this movie more of a journey type of sort of. The last one was a very personal movie, but there were so many different pockets spread out that this is going to be I don't know, could be. This is a possibility that it could be more concentrated with this sort of core crew, and more of a personal vendetta, like trying to accomplish a goal together. Whereas the last one, everybody was sort of Empire Strikes Back separated through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I wouldn't be mad if Ant-Man threw one of the red discs at Thanos and turned him really small, and we got to hear Josh Brolin with helium. I would not be mad at that. Hey!
Little one, I'm little one.
I'm powerful!
It's still, if Thanos is so formidable, he'd still figure out how to get out of that. I think it was brilliant that Infinity War started out with the callback of "We have a Hulk," spoken by Loki, the last person you would think would be aligned with the Hulk, and then the Hulk shows up with his brute force, but basically surgically handled by Thanos.
That fight scene was great.
Yeah, and it was just like, holy shit, the Hulk is the strongest Avenger, arguable Thor and the Hulk, but the fact that he just got handled right away.
Yeah, manhandled easily.
Yeah, and it was scary.
You're like,
uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, this is not someone you want to trifle with.
Yeah, you bring out your strongest guy and he gets tossed.
Yeah,
after killing half of Thor's people.
I do like the scene in Thor Ragnarok when Hulk and Thor are fighting, and Hulk like takes Thor and he just smacks him around, and Loki's like, "Yes, that's what it feels like."
That was quite good. Yeah, that's the beauty of watching these movies, how they're all intertwined and how they're all callbacks to other movies and other moments and stuff even outside of the movies, which makes them really, really fun. And that's the brilliant part that Disney knows. They're like, if you guys, well, you'll keep coming back for that familiarity, for that sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge feeling that you get while watching it. It's a very inside baseball type of situation, which I like.
For sure.
All right, well, that seems to wrap it up pretty well. Guys, if you're watching right now and you stumble upon this video, let us know what you think in the comments, because this will be archived on the channel. If this is your first time here, subscribe to this channel, like, share, and comment, as always. And turn on the notifications. That's always a good thing. And I'm having a giveaway, guys. Once I reach 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a PS4 plus Red Dead Redemption 2. And that's going to be to a lucky commenter. So comment away on these videos, and you will be higher up in the echelon of people to choose from when I am picking a winner for that contest. And Corcon, thank you for joining me so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And
yes, it's always fun, dude.
And if you guys want to subscribe to his channel, the links are right below. Do that right away. He talks about movies and entertainment and stuff like that. And do you have any last words?
I hope Endgame is good.
Me too. I have a feeling it will be good. I think the Russos are good at delivering those moments that we want, or those really kind of punch in the gut moments. And the thing generally I love about these movies, the Marvel movies, and especially the Avengers movies, is that you have such top quality acting, top quality actors really living in this world. Because when Thor is giving that monologue with Rocket, talking about how he's lived for 3,000 years and killed twice as many enemies, and he's got nothing left to live for, or nothing left to lose, that would not work if you didn't have a top quality actor really experiencing what was going on in that world. And and even Gamora, when Zoe Saldana is sitting there right about to get tossed off the ledge, that's a really heavy moment. And here's to Chris Pratt getting engaged to Katherine Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's a brave decision.
Well, they're gonna have a little action hero as a kid, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
which will be great.
And he's gonna be a bad guy in the new The Kid. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that.
It's a new movie Vincent D'Onofrio is directing based on Billy the Kid, and it has Ethan Hawke as the kind of town sheriff, and Chris Pratt plays the villain. He's got a big beard. You should watch the trailer. It's crazy. He goes full villain. It's a little odd.
That is weird. He's too likable and charismatic to be hated. So, I mean, you could still be charismatic and hated, which is Loki.
Yeah. He seems pretty despicable in this.
Well, I'm going to check that out. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle, your bro in the know with the fro, and I'll see you later.